Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. If you haven't already subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. If you don't know how to do that, at the end of these videos, we have a white circle which has got the BWTM logo. Click on that, and that will bring you through to the end. It should bring you through to the subscribe button so you can subscribe there. Quick question to ask you all. Please leave in the comment section. Do you ever watch the video right to the end? At the end of the videos, we have things such as latest uploads, the subscribe button, which is the logo, also the best bits or best things you can see on our channel, across our channel, and sometimes have a playlist. Would love to know whether you do look at these because all that information is helpful for us. Of course, also don't forget to check out BWTM Sports channel, which is on Facebook. Get in the room, like the page on Facebook, and check out the information on there. Right, this conversation is long overdue, very long overdue. The casual market in boxing and its effects on the sport. Now, I can't tell you that when Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler were fighting, that I knew about casual or the casual market. I wouldn't have known that. I didn't know. I do know at that time there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was no social media. In fact, I'm not even sure there was internet at the time. 1980, I don't know what it was, but anyway, I do know that for a fact that not for a fact, but I know that fights often were shown the next day on ITV or BBC at the time that would show the fights, big fights in America afterwards. I do remember watching Frank Bruno fight Mike Tyson. I remember listening to Frank Bruno fight Mike Tyson on Radio 5 and listened. I remember listening to it on radio because I couldn't watch it on TV. So I remember that. I remember listening to a lot of fights on radio because I couldn't watch it on TV. That was the time. Since then, we've had the likes of Sky come along and give us fights and midweek sports special. So people will remember those who've watching boxing as long as me or longer than me will remember those days of listening to boxing on the radio. So now you appreciate being able to watch boxing via satellite or watching it via live stream, however you get to watch it. That's none of my business. But you know what I'm getting at. Today's market, the casual market, we often hear people across social media, if they're losing an argument or they're getting frustrated, they come out and say, "You're a casual." Yeah, that basically means that you don't know what you're talking about and you only watch boxing once or twice a year when someone like Anthony Joshua comes out to fight. That's it. You don't go to general small hall bouts to watch people fight. You don't support the sport of boxing and go and watch amateur boxing. And for a lot of people that are calling people casuals, I have to say that they too are probably casuals because they don't go down and support the local amateur boxing club. They probably haven't gone and seen a boxing bout. And, so, when we talk casual, that could be quite a broad spectrum when we say the word casual. This conversation isn't one that I expect a lot of people to enjoy watching, probably won't click on watching, but that just shows you the state of affairs. If I put on a title that says Tony Bellew versus Tyson Fury, that people will jump in the room and have an opinion. The casual market, is a little bit more cutting. So we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about the casual market, and I hope that you can join this conversation with me about the casual market. The effects of the casual market. Well, let's put it this way. I'll make a statement. I don't think that Ricky Hatton had casual supporters, or if he did, they were very casual enough to come over to America to support him in the big fights. That was one of Ricky Hatton's big draws, that his fans would go across the water to support him. They would go to Vegas to support Ricky in his big fights. Remember, with Mayweather and Pacquiao, his fans turned out in force to see him fight. We didn't talk about Hatton sold out arenas, but that wasn't the talking point. The talking point was he sold out arenas. The talking point that Hatton could fight. He was marketable. He could fight. He was that guy down the road. He could fight. He didn't mind having a fight. Ricky Hatton. That's how people remember Ricky Hatton. Selling out the arena was secondary. Primary was Hatton could fight. Now, Pekka Decker asked me a question. He's a regular. And he asked me the question, is boxing dying, Ingram? And often I'd say to him, nah, mate, boxing's as good as it is. It's getting better and better. But then I kind of listened to that dialogue and I thought to myself, wait, hold on a second. Is boxing getting better and better? In all the years I've been covering the sport, particularly on BWTM, let's say for the last, 2012, let's say from 2009 to 2018, there's been significant shifts in the sport. And here's where I think that the sport may have already died or may be dead already. And hear me out when I say this. Celebrity promoters, celebrity trainers, celebrity managers. Promoters getting more limelight than fighters. Trainers getting more limelight than fighters. Trainers whose CVs just don't add up to being what they're promoted to be, getting lots of limelight, having lots of time to talk, and top trainers who've proven it over and over and over again, not getting much limelight. This is part of the casual effects. Let me go into detail. There are many celebrity trainers. I say celebrity, they don't mind having a word or two. But when you look at what they've actually achieved in the sport with a fine-tooth comb, you'll find a lot of these celebrity trainers that we talk about, I'd say particularly in the UK, that a lot of their fighters, some other mugging, I'm going to use that word, some other mugging has done all the hard work with them, only for that trainer to have them arrive at their gym because of a reputation, because they may have skipped from one promoter to another promoter. So that promoter says, I want you to train with him. Not because that particular trainer may have earned that right over other leading trainers who may do a better job. Just when you join that stable, those are the trainers you have to go with. So celebrity trainers, not calling you names, but you know who they are. They're okay at a certain level, but when you start taking them against elite fighters and elite trainers, they come up stuck and come up short. They don't seem to have a game plan. Their fighters all fight the same way. Literally all their fighters fight the same way. And when they reach elite level, they get exposed. See, I have no problem with the promoter getting limelight. No problem with that whatsoever. But when the promoter's getting more limelight and the promoter's getting seen more than his fighters are getting seen, no, I have a problem with that, because the fighter is just about making enough money to make ends meet. The promoter is making his money over and over and over again off these fighters, and the fighter's not getting the limelight. That, for me, can't be right. Now, back to this thing about the casual market. Anthony Joshua, people say that I have a real problem with him. I don't have a problem with him at all. But the casual market. Ricky Hatton, we could measure how good Ricky Hatton was, and we could measure how good his fan base was because they traveled to Vegas. They traveled with him. The average Anthony Joshua fan, average, that fills out the arena, how many, let me ask a question, in that arena, those arenas that Joshua's supposedly packing out, how many of those are hardcore boxing fans? I asked the question. How many of them are hardcore boxing fans? And how many of them are turning up for the event? How many of them turn up because their sponsors paid for them to go there, or they've gone there because it's a good night out with the lads. These are the sort of guys that will ask the question, when would Joshua fight Mayweather? You know, for hardcores, that's an absolute insult. You're having a laugh. These are the same type of people that believe that Conor McGregor stood a chance in beating Floyd Mayweather. They actually had a chance. These are the same. And the thing is, this is where the casual market actually seeps into the media. And watch this. The boxing media, the broadcasters, not saying which broadcaster, but they are now lowering their standards to ensure the casual market is satisfied. The dialogue is to satisfy the casual market. So you can have a boxer and his mate who's boxing talking about the fight. You can have a guy on commentary who's related to the guy that's boxing. How can that be non-biased commentary? I don't understand that. These pundits take boxing fans as mugs. This is what it is. That's why the hardcores are frustrated and angry. But you see, the hardcores won't get fooled because I've seen the trick over and over again. The casuals now, well, they celebrate the promoter more than they celebrate the promoter's fighters. They celebrate anything the promoter has to say. So the promoter can talk BS and have a smile, quite literally. And these boxing fans, casuals, soak it up, repeat what the promoter says, and they worship that promoter. And they actually regurgitate the bullshit. And while that's going on, the promoter's laughing. The pundits knew there was no way whatsoever that Conor McGregor was going to beat Floyd Mayweather. They knew that. The hardcores knew that. Even the pundits knew that. But, we've got to make it sound as if he can win the fight. That's how we're going to get more pay-per-view numbers for you, right? So they don't care about us, the hardcore fans. So when you dilute a message, you even start to dilute your information, and you dilute your information as to who actually is relevant and who's good in the sport, who's not so good in sport. I remember watching a fight the other day. In fact, I was Ryan Burnett. I was watching Ryan Burnett fight. I was trying to watch it. I was commentating. And they didn't even mention one of the most dangerous guys in this division, which is Tete. They did not mention Tete. At no point. Not at all. But you, as a pundit, are meant to be informing the public that's listening to box. That's what the commentary is there for, to inform us, to give us information. So now, because the media has been infiltrated by this whole new era of boxing casuals, boxing as we know it is dead. Boxing as we know it is dead. Why? Because nothing is what it was. Nothing. And it's changed to a point now where boxing has now become on parallel, on level terms with WWE. Tables being thrown, people walking into rings and calling fighters out, press conferences being more important than fights themselves. People, if you go across social media, I can't wait until that press conference. That's the sort of dialogue that we're going with today. And the hardcores, they can't stand it. But let me tell you something, hardcores. The casual market is what the promoters are tapping into, because they're the ones that are going to pay the pay-per-views. They're the ones that are going to turn up to the arenas. They're the ones that are going to support these fights with Joshua. But here's the problem. Do you really believe that Anthony Joshua's fan base is so strong that he would have people flocking to America to watch him fight? Here's an example. Let me give you an example. Dillian White, he has thousands and thousands of views across social media, right? Correct. He's got lots of followers on social media. So why was it so difficult for, why was it when he actually fought in America against Malcolm Tan, hardly anybody was in the arena watching him fight? But he's got so many supporters. Social media is a huge illusion. Social media, you can have thousands and thousands and millions of followers online, but you can buy those followers. Anybody can spend 100, 200, 300, 500 pounds to get followers on the Instagram or their Facebook page. You don't know how these followers got onto Twitter or Facebook. It's just, oh, he's got 1 million followers. Oh, and most of the time, these fighters' accounts are controlled by other people. They're public relations officer. I know that as a fact. I've worked with PR, people in PR that work with fighters who look after their Twitter accounts. So why you think you're tweeting to that fighter? You're not tweeting to that fighter at all. Now, there was a time where back in the day, British, Commonwealth, European world, that was something that was it was a joy to watch. Watching a guy fight at the Royal Albert Hall. Do you remember those days? The Royal Albert Hall. Or Wembley, was it Wembley Arena? Wembley Stadium, Wembley Arena, fighting Wembley Arena. I remember those days. Sitting watching those fights. Harry Carpenter, watching boxing with Harry Carpenter. Watching Bruno trying to become world heavyweight champion and going and fighting the challenges to become champion. Today, it's about fighting for an intercontinental belt. You fight a guy that's got a record of 5-22. You get a whole heap of knockouts against guys that we've never heard of, and then you're stuck in a world title fight. And you might win that world title fight, but it doesn't make you, it makes you a title holder. And you're ducking and dodging. That's not what boxing's about. But that's what the casual market has brought us to. You know, a guy wins a fight, one fight, a decent fight. One day he's a bum, the next day he wins a decent fight. And before you know it, he's a world beater. This is how the casual market works. Look, here's an example. Is Tyson Fury a good fighter? Yes or no? Well, before he fought Klitschko, he was clumsy, he was a bum, he had 2 left feet, he was uncoordinated. People kept showing videos of him hitting himself. Okay. He beats Klitschko. Suddenly, he's the second coming of Muhammad Ali. He's the greatest fighter ever. Really? Well, how do you jump from being a guy who was uncoordinated, one fight, to getting smashed by Klitschko to now being the greatest thing since sliced bread? I don't understand that. It's incredible. Joe Joyce, another fighter who was slow, called all these names, not very good. He's a bum, blah, blah, blah. He got done by Usyk. He beats Leroy Thomas, and you'd think Leroy Thomas was some, like, I don't know, he was Usyk or something. He beats Leroy Thomas, gets beat by Joe Joyce, and suddenly he's a guy that can beat Anthony Joshua, he can beat Deontay Wilder. Don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just I just don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. The casual market doesn't appreciate a good trainer. The casual market doesn't understand the sweet science of the sport. They see somebody hitting some pads, right? Or they see somebody rattling off 1,000 punches on a punch bag and think, oh, he's good. Against a guy who'll take his time and do the techniques properly and work on that. Dismissed. They will spend less time listening to somebody like a Sanchez or Bashir or Peter Fury, guys who experience and know the game and have some experience. We'll listen to some guy for 5 minutes who the public say they should listen to via the media that's been basically infiltrated with this cancerous casual sort of agenda. So then they get brushed to one side, and you listen to a whole lot of people who just don't know anything about the sport. To me, the casual market has now well and truly, especially in the UK, taken over. But the casual market doesn't just stop there with the fans. Oh, no, 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 no. See, now this is where you get it twisted. The casual market goes one step further, you see, because when we talked about the media, you see anybody now can pick up a camera and go to a press conference and start shooting and filming and start a YouTube channel and start talking. And don't get it twisted for 1 second if you don't think that these people who release these press badges, and I know you're listening, don't listen in and watch, because they do. They watch all, because before you fill out to get a press pass, yeah, you have to say what your channel is or what you're doing, or where the video is going to be shown, all this stuff, your numbers, your figures, generally. So you don't think they're watching your channel and what you do with the videos afterwards, then you really are deluded. So they're watching your videos, and don't think, oh well, because I've only got a couple of hundred views on watching. They're watching you. They're watching you. They're watching you well. You see, and you see, the more that you kiss ass, the more you get. You think you're getting places. But let me tell you something. If you really believe that you're getting places, try and get yourself sorted on a big fight like a Joshua fight and see where you are on the queue. See if you get an automatic invite to these events and see, or you have to break a nut to try and get there. This is what I'm talking about. I don't give a damn one way or the other about press conference. They can shove it as far as I'm concerned. I don't need them. And I say that with complete and utter conviction, because as far as I'm concerned, the way I see it, there's a lot of kissing ass. I am doing that to get an interview. No, no, sorry. I'm not doing it. See, this is what I'm talking about. You see, it's not about, this is just real honest talk. So you get people who get videos now, who get a few views on YouTube, who, get a couple of interviews, and woo, he's done some interviews, woo, but they haven't got a clue what they're talking about. They're not honest about the sport. So you have casual media. Don't just think it's for the fans. And you got these media infecting the fans as well. So don't think it's just the fans' responsibility. The media have a responsibility to tell the truth and tell it as it is. So this might not be one of my more popular videos, but the sport, from what I've seen it and from what I've seen of it, those days are done. They're done completely. When Conor McGregor, a guy with no boxing experience, well, a handful of amateur bouts, can actually be put in the same ring as one of the greatest fighters of the modern era and be given a chance and a platform to fight a guy with a 0-0 record, with a guy who had a 48 and 49-year-old 48, was it 49-0 record, and you think this fight's going to be close, and you've got pundits that are telling you he's going to win this fight. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, I understand First Take in America and the back and forth between Stephen A. Smith and the other, and the guy who's an actual casual, but they're doing it for ratings on their TV program. The guy who's arguing with Stephen A. Smith, I don't think he believes half the crap he's saying. I think he just says it for a reaction. So Stephen A. Smith is a casual fan, but Stephen A. Smith, you say that he's a casual fan, but at the end of the day, that's all they're doing is putting bums in seats, and they're not doing it to be educated. They're not trying to educate you about the sport. No matter what they say, they ain't trying to educate you about the sport because they're interested in their basketball and all the other sports they've got in America. They don't give a damn about boxing. Honestly, they don't. Unless it's a huge fight and it's Mayweather. They don't give a shit. Let's see what people are saying. The casuals keep pockets filled. They play a role. That's exactly what it is. All Eddie has done is bring white collar boxing to Sky. Unfortunately, it brings the same fans crossing over, more interested in a booze up and a sing song. That's what it is. The same people that go to darts, the same people that go to football, the same people that come to boxing. There's only one Anthony Joshua, and then there's only one Anthony Joshua, and then you'll see the same people saying there's only one Josh Warrington. Then move from there, and there's only one Leeds United, and then they'll go across and say there's only one Chris Mason. They'll just it is what it is. They're the paying public, and that's all they're interested in. That's all they're interested in. Bums on seats. Now, how many of those bums can they convert into being travelers to America with Anthony Joshua? All you fans out there of Anthony Joshua, how many you can say, yeah, he's got a real solid base. He's got a real solid base outside of the UK. Max Kellerman is definitely a boxing man. Well, Max Kellerman got his ass basically told off for trying to be too honest. Remember when he made that statement about who's the best counter puncher in boxing, who's got the best straight right hand in boxing? He basically was giving an opinion, said that Mayweather would beat Pacquiao. Or that on HBO. Oh, you don't want to be doing that, but that's what he went and did. Got himself in a lot of trouble for that. But on first take, he doesn't go in too deep into boxing. I mean, Stephen A. Smith was campaigning for the Gigi Canelo fight to happen despite a failed drugs test. LOL. Well, that's all part of controversy. That's America. America love the controversy. Darts and snooker fans. LOL. Well, Max Kellerman, a paid bullshit artist. Yes, he is. That's what it is. Max Kellerman wasn't always that way. It's just the way of the world today. They're just going to fit in with the casual market today. That's what it is. Not so much in America. I think more in the UK. Very much so in the UK. It's you know the question should be asked is that's the question we asked when Hearn was running around America saying, do you know who Deontay Wilder is? Well, I would ask Hearn the question, do you think that Joshua can fill out an arena in America? Was it they called him the other? Was it Anthony? I couldn't remember what they called him the other day in America. They didn't pronounce his name right. He went to a basketball game and didn't even know what his name was. They didn't even know what his name was. And they called him Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson. You tell me they didn't do that by purpose. It was a mistake. He called him Anthony Johnson. Come on, that's an insult. They didn't know who the hell he was. And they got you got all these people in the UK going, oh yeah, Joshua could sell out America. Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. When Prince Nazim made that cross from the UK to the US, when he was made that jump from the UK to the US, he was on billboards all across America. He was across billboards. He was the man, Prince Nazim Hamid. He showed you how it was done, and then he went in there and he fought against Kevin Kelly in his first fight. Go back and watch the fight. Watch the entrance that he does. He makes to the ring against Kevin Kelly, and that is one of the most talked about fights from a British fighter in history. So he goes, Bob Sanders, I live in Florida, and the problem we have is we love repetition. Cavs versus Warriors has happened 4 times now because of bullshit. But there you go. There you go. So the casual market. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about the casual market because it means having to go deep and be real. And a lot of people in boxing don't like real. It's like boxing's a world of its own. It's got its own sort of, so it's got its own hypocrisy and bullshit. Like things that happen in the boxing world can't happen anywhere else. So, like, for example, I tell you why people talk about gates and how much money people can make. Let me phrase that. Why people talk so much about gates today. You know why they talk about gates today? I'll tell you why they talk about gates today. It's because they damn well know how much of those people that are that are sitting down, filling these arenas out, are actually genuine boxing fans. How many of that gate do you think will transfer to getting on a plane and going to Vegas? That's a question that they should ask Mr. Accountant Hearn. That's a question they should ask. I think Joshua can make that jump. It will take some promo for sure. Like, for example, they had the US tour where he was done by Underarm. So they had him on some popular talk show as well. Yeah, well, a few more appearances like that, posters and billboards, who knows, appear in a movie and get a big record, and that's all it takes. Well, got to keep winning fights. Don't think so. Don't think so. Well, let me ask a question. Prince Nazim Hamid, how many promos and talk shows did he go on when he went to fight Kevin Kelly? Bruno, when he left from the UK, went to fought in America. How many talk shows did Bruno go on? Hatton, how many talk shows did he go on when he left from the UK and go to America? Please, talk shows. These guys had crossover appeal. Hatton had a following because he was basically one of the lads. AJ's two media centers to have that following. Nobody can relate to him. He has no real connection with fans. Thank you very much, Gazzo. This is the sort of casual talk. This is the sort of casual talk that is affecting the sport. McTreasure, you are exactly what I'm talking about. The casual market in boxing today. Listen. This is the cancerous stuff I'm talking about. A few more appearances and posters and billboards. Well, okay. Tony Bellew was on Creed, right? He was on Creed, wasn't he? That was a big movie, wasn't it? That was seeing Sylvester Stallone and part of the Rocky franchise. How much did that help Tony Bellew? Tony Bellew couldn't sell that arena by himself. He sold that arena because of David Haye, somebody else who hadn't fought anyone decent for years. So come on. You're saying how it can be achieved. Frank Bruno didn't have social media, and he did it. Ricky Hatton did it. He didn't have social media, and he did it. Prince Nazim Hamid went to America. He didn't have social media, and he did it. So these guys didn't have social media. These guys didn't have Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. These guys didn't have that. They had two fists and had a big heart and wanted to fight. And that's what it. Times were different. Exactly. Times now are not about substance. I'm telling you, this is what the casual market is about. You're basically showing me today what you'll basically prove my point. Here's another casual statement. Boxing is not what it was once in America. MMA stole the combat sports race for a few years now. Wait, hold on a second. Let's put something in context here. Boxing is not what it was in America. The casual market has changed the face of boxing. That's a fact. Okay. And you want to blame boxing in America? Go blame the Klitschko's. The heavyweight division, for your information, is the pinnacle of boxing, or it was the pinnacle of boxing. Klitschko, the last time, okay, you had Lennox Lewis. Even then, so Evander Holyfield, maybe going back a bit more. Mike Tyson was the last for me. I have to say, Mike Tyson was the last guy that the world like wanted to see fight was Mike Tyson. Not so much Evander Holyfield or Riddick Bowe or Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson. Whether it be Tokyo, whether it be in America, Mike Tyson was, everyone knew who Mike Tyson was, right? Mike Tyson didn't have social media, okay? This is my point. And if you're going to say Mike Tyson was a great, then I've got to stop you there. Mike Tyson was well promoted. He was well promoted. He could fight, but great, that is still questionable about great, because there's a lot of things about Mike Tyson. He was well promoted. For example, Mike Tyson. Example. They called him the baddest man on the planet. But for you to be the baddest man on the planet, he'd have to have beaten somebody who was the baddest man on the planet. So who was the baddest man that Mike Tyson fought to be the baddest man on the planet? I'm just asking. Who was it? Was it Pinklon Thomas? Was it Trevor Berbick? Who was it? So who was it? So this question here. So again, I go back to my point that the sport of boxing is dead in the sense that it will never be what it once was. Social media, the changing times. So now we have a casual market, and the casual market dominates. That's what it is. This is what we're talking about. All right. So this is true. Klitschko era kind of killed off the heavyweight division. I don't know why, how the heavyweights of that generation A were not exciting, couldn't dethrone the brothers. The brothers had it on lockdown. They knew what they were doing. Tyson only beat Old Holmes over age, and he beat Michael Spinks as well. Spinks was a good fighter. He beat them all, says Gypsy Boxer, his wife. James Toney, one of the most underrated fighters in boxing history. Everyone knows Tyson, not Tyson. Not everyone knows John Jones and Anderson Silva. Would you have rated Lennox as a great? That's a good question. Who did Lennox beat in his prime? I mean, again, we're talking greats here. Who did Lennox beat in his prime? Michael Grant, Vitaly Klitschko. Was Vitaly Klitschko in his prime then? Um, he beat an old Mike Tyson. He beat an old Evander Holyfield. He never fought Riddick Bowe, which was the fight that everyone wanted to see him fight. Um, he beat Tommy Morrison. He beat Shannon Briggs. Let's put it this way: Lennox beat the best that was in his era. Greatest, no chance. Great, he was a very good fighter. There's no doubt Lennox was a very good fighter. Morrison was a legit fighter, yep. But you saw what Ray Mercer did to Morrison. So back to the casual market. Um, so everyone, okay, there's my point there, and Michael makes a great point. Everyone knew who Mike Tyson was. Not everybody knows who John Jones or Anderson Silva is, and you know McGregor has had that crossover because of Mayweather. And again, I think Lennox is top three heavyweight of all time. Ali and Dempsey above Lennox. And you got some bad people that Lennox has got to beat to be in top three. I mean, is George Foreman there for one? Is George Foreman, Joe Lewis, a lot of guys that are in the heavyweight division that Lennox would have to beat. Remember, Lennox got knocked out by Oliver McCall and Hasim Rahman, and those two guys weren't great. He got knocked over by those two guys. All right. So yeah. So back to the casual market. Like I said before, it is actually it is what it is today. The casual market is dominant today in this sport of boxing, particularly in the UK. It's it has top fighters, devalued top fighters um, very quickly. So some guy like Lomachenko that comes along who had a very good amateur career and has had a successful professional career. Suddenly, what he's done devalues all the other great fighters in history because of his amateur career. So just completely destroy everything that a top fighter may have done. You know, we've had great fighters like Pernell Whitaker along the years, Azuma Nelson, Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. We've had some really great fighters, and then we know the Fabulous Four. You know, we've had some great fighters in the UK, but they just get washed to one side because of this casual frenzy we've got today. So the casual market is definitely affecting boxing. The problem is on YouTube too. We had people destroying the Violence versus GGG matchup, but didn't say a thing about Charlo versus Trout when it was announced. And Charlo's team had months to pick an opponent, not recycle Trout. If Fury somehow beats Joshua, etc., after timeout, he will be shit on. casual market who are politically correct. He's very personal, but so blunt would be jokes. Yeah, it remains to be seen how good Tyson Fury is in 2018. Sorry, 2019. Lennox had some great skills, I agree, but he should never have been getting beat by McCall and Rackman. That's it. That's what goes down in history. He got beat by McCall and Rackman. Having said that, um, Muhammad Ali got beat by 8-fight novice in Leon Spinks. So even the greatest got beat by 8-fight novice, but he never got knocked out cold by Hassim Rackman, who in turn got knocked through the ropes twice by see the guy's face now, Oleg Maskev. And who the hell knows who Oleg Maskev is? He avenged those defeats too. Yeah, he avenged those defeats. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson avenged his defeats as well. Ali avenged his defeat to Leon Spinks. So your point is, he didn't get sparked by Hassim Rackman though. That's my point. It's the heavyweight division. Anyone can get put to bed. Haha. See, that's the sort of comments that that's the sort of comments right there, regurgitated right off probably a Sky script. There's going to be some thrills and spills. Everyone loses. Yeah, I agree. But you know, it's not losing; it's how you lose and the manner you lose. Getting KO'd by Oliver McCall, right, and Hassim Rackman. Bear in mind, Oliver McCall got beat by Frank Bruno. Frank Bruno got beat by Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson got beat by Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas got beat by Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield got beat by James Toney. James Toney got beat by Roy Jones, who Roy Jones got beat by Tarver, who Tarver got beat by Hopkins. And Hopkins got beat by, let's see, Joe Calzaghe. And, well, Jermaine Taylor got beat by Kelly Pavlik. And Kelly Pavlik got beat by Hopkins. And the list just goes on. We can just go on and on and on. My point is that the casual market has taken over the sport, particularly in the UK. And because of that, it's devaluing trainers' legacy, fighters' legacy, and the information that's been given out on across media. That's my point. So is the sport dying? It's dead to the hardcore fans because the hardcore fans no longer have the power that the casuals do. The casuals call for a fight, it happens. The hardcore say no, and generally the casuals win. So we'll see. That sounds harsh, but it is what it is. True, but amongst us fight fans, we know what our legacies are. We aren't fools. That's the fight fans. What trainers do you feel are devalued? Well, that's not. It's devaluing boxing full stop. Thank you, Gazaki. It's a point. Gazaki was my favorite UK boxer just because I liked his style. He wasn't an arsehole. I like Kazaki, but I always thought that Robin Reed beat him, but that's neither here nor there. I thought Robin beat him by a point, but that's neither here nor there. It was a great fight. In fact, what I might do is re-commentate on that fight, Kazaki versus Reed. I thought it was a great fight. I might just re-commentate on that fight. Right, those are my thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. It's nice sharing it with you. I'm sure everyone's got their opinion. But in terms of hardcore boxing fans, I'm sorry, the sport of boxing is dead in that sense. But to the sport of boxing for the casual market, it's alive and kicking and has never been better. So it is what it is. And the I think the way to test that is let's see how many people Joshua can get over to America. Let's see how many people Joshua can I think the World Boxing Super Series is perfect for hardcores. Yep, but I think more than the World Boxing Super Series it's gonna be more than that. It's gonna be needed. If they can keep champions getting into the tournament, that's That's something. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. It's just an opinion I have. It's not gospel, it's an opinion, but it's my own opinion. It's not based on anybody else's opinion. It's not based on something I've read. It's just how I feel. So thanks for listening in. Have a great evening. Take care.